sunkiness. I've got a picture of Brahmagiri's face here. All class it's going to be.
Yeah, she's gone.
She's in Sailorstock. Oh.
Okay. Oh, for this one? Okay. You can little this one. Our little customer is this.
Huh?
Right?
Yes.
Those pictures. Oh, good. Did you get them? Did I sent them. Oh, you sent them? Okay, because I got it to her. Oh, okay. Yeah. When the sun shines. Oh. So I'm kind of like, you know how it is when you're studying, you start to go,
So, like you say, you have to keep the whole day open. What do you mean?
well, because the written exam, well, in the morning, the written exam, we have to be there at 7:30 in the morning for the written exam, and then I think there's 10 of us in the group, and then they schedule us, but we don't know what the schedule will be for the practical that day. So we have to come back at our assigned time to do these skills.
And you find it only that day?
Only once we get there, so, yeah. And
All right, so that's
I have no idea how to,
Yeah,
not
what's
come back. But it should be
What is
done
it to do?
before 5 o'clock, or maybe even earlier, I don't know. Yes.
Well, you can take something.
Yeah.
And I'll try to bring, in fact, I can bring everything here except for the stand. And then you can just come here. You can pick it up from the backyard.
Okay.
Come here and set it up.
It's
So
tilt back,
you won't
they're
be
good for
dependent.
talk each other.
Okay, so like on
But they're very comfortable for leaning
Because
back.
because there's a class
if
on
you're
Thursday,
here,
Right?
or no?
There's a nice
But if you're
little
here on
footrest.
Friday, then you
Yes.
can do it on Friday.
Yeah.
But I think
So
it's-
everything is at your house and it needs to come over here, is that, oh, okay, I was thinking it
But
was
there
there
are things
around.
that I can do. And you pick up the tent.
Okay,
And,
and is it gonna be out here, just
yeah,
outside
and
the
you
porch?
can consult with someone.
Okay,
Okay.
and if I get confused, I'll text you.
Yeah. You should not be confused about sitting.
Sure, we'll be warm.
A couple of times on my own, but,
Okay.
yeah, I can do it, yeah,
Yeah,
I will be okay.
you'll be okay.
Okay, I'll be okay. Yeah, Dennis has helped me in the past, but he has to travel for work
Yeah,
on
we
Thursday
did
and
it
Friday.
together. You were pretty much in charge.
Yeah, and it was really raining and everything, and so
Yeah.
this go around should be easier. Yeah, just have to figure out.
And Sunday is Pradosha. Are you aware of
This
this?
Sunday?
Yeah,
This Sunday.
this Sunday.
This Sunday is the
12th, which is...
2 weeks. It's gone. 2 weeks is gone already.
yeah, I know. I was surprised myself.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. We should tell Swamiji about this. Because she'll do the home training in the afternoon.
Yeah, maybe I'll do it in the morning here.
Yeah, so you know, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
just realized it.
Yeah, maybe that's good to know.
12th and 28th this month.
Oh, I'll be here.
So that is looking revealed.
Oh,
Thanks.
we changed it now. Just
Changed?
to try the computer on the other side. Because last time it was being too crowded in. So.
Thank you.
Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. There's some red round thing flashing. Okay, here there is no sound. What to do here?
Oh,
Connect audio. Now there should be sound. Unmute speakers. Okay, now there should be sound. Increase volume here. Now there should definitely be sound. And adjust microphone volume. And there's something else. Adjust speaker volume. Yeah. Can you hear now? Yes? One person say yes, enough. Okay, wonderful. Chapter 4. You know, this is all about Ishvara, the whole Upanishad. And this goes directly to Ishvara, you know. It's like doesn't bother with introduction, conclusions, or any intermediaries, interlopers. It's all about Ishvara right from the start to the end, which is why this is a very important Upanishad. And had Adi Shankara lived longer, definitely he would have written a commentary, you know. And so, it's a very important Upanishad because really the knowledge is all about Ishvara anyway. It's not about anything other than Ishvara. So, the unfoldment of what is this Ishvara becomes crucial through various ways of looking at this one thing, because that is what frees from samsara. The knowledge of Ishvara frees from samsara, unlike other knowledges, because here that oneness is revealed. When Ishvara is revealed, Ishvara is not revealed as yet one more thing in the Jagat to be known and understood. But Ishvara is revealed as the very essence of who you are. Wherever you are, there is Ishvara, you know. And everything, the whole Jagat, therefore, is Ishvara plus. That's all. You know, I was seeing some nice photos were coming of Lord Dakshinamurti. I said, oh, what is this? It's 6 plus. I said, plus? What is that? It's the name of the form. 6 plus. So then I thought, just now, the idea came. The whole Jagat is Ishvara plus. Yeah. Ishvara plus what? Nama and Rupa. Ishvara plus. You know, and 6 plus is very big. Ishvara is bigger. Wow. Because it wraps around everything, as it were, because there is no everything, you know, as we will see in the opening verse. So the opening verse, in the last verse there was a little bit of what's the word for it? The dispelling of sorrow. Ishvara from the standpoint of shok and nivritti. You know, ye viduhu amritaha te bhavanti. Those who know become free of sorrow. And of course the last verse concluded by the ones who know become free of sorrow, and the others, what about the others? Because there are others, you know. Those uncelebrated others, what happens to them? They continue to fry in the hot oils of samsara, signified by what? Rebirth. Again, and even in this birth, many, many deaths. Every day is a small death. And so, now chapter 4 is going to focus more on the lakshanas. Tatastha and what's the other one? Swarupa. Tatastha lakshana, Swarupa lakshana. Two standpoints from which this Ishvara is understood. One is as the... What's happening here? Can't hear? Low volume. I don't know what I can do. Very low volume. Why is this not on?
It's not that, Swamini, it's this. This is on. That one
Can you
is
increase the
this.
mic volume?
How about the computer phone?
Yeah, increase the mic volume. Computer volume is on.
And it's all the way up, Swamini.
Is that all the way up there?
No,
That you increase. Doesn't matter if the people here have to close their ears. You know, we'll increase that. That's already on. All that is on.
It might be the internal microphone and not the snowball that's actually connected.
That's why you were right. Okay, now this is correct. Now it should increase. Yes? Better? Just one person say. After one person has said, nobody else needs to say. Is it better now?
Trupti says she can hear fine, but she's on here.
Is it all right? Now? Yes. Okay. Yeah, you diagnosed the problem and fixed it also. Usually it's easy to diagnose. Like the doctors, you know. You have such and such a syndrome. Okay, what should I do? We don't know what to do. You know. So here Ishvara is seen from two standpoints. This is a very established way of looking at it. And it's established because this is, we live in a populated universe, correct? Populated by what? Everything I asked today, the answer is Nama Rupa. Okay? Populated by various forms, names. So we live in, including this body, that body, all bodies. And so we live in a universe that is variegated. We can use that word here. Meaning, it appears to be many. And that itself becomes a big hurdle in the discussion of oneness. So then we have what is called a signature of Ishvara called Tatastha Lakshana. So Lakshana here is the signature, a definition. How to recognize Ishvara. So now we become handwriting experts and see the writing of Ishvara on every wall, and even when the wall is not there, on every leaf, on every, shoot, every root, we recognize the handwriting, the signature of Ishvara, the hand of Ishvara, in fact, the very essence of Ishvara in everything. And so to do that, we have to have a particular way of unfolding this Ishvara from this particular way of looking at the one who is in charge of the Jagat. Because naturally, if there is the hand of Ishvara in everything, you can't just sit quietly with just the presence. That is not Tatastha Lakshana. That is not a complete understanding of Tatastha Lakshana, because we have not quite gone the whole way. And this, somehow people can come to it even without Vedanta. You sit quietly and then everything is quiet, because it's all here. It's all you, really. So even if you go somewhere and have an interaction that's not pleasant, somebody is mean, somebody is, upsetting, and as a result of this interaction one is affected, that is also you, That person is just a manifestation, another Nama Rupa. So why are you affected by that Nama Rupa, correct? Well, that is because I am attached to my Nama Rupa. I am identifying with and as my Nama Rupa, therefore, one Nama Rupa, another Nama Rupa, same plane of existence, correct? Same order of reality, and then there are sparks, not very nice sparks, correct? So therefore, it's not enough to just, then if supposing somebody can say this, and you find in the spiritual world a lot of, I don't know what they call it, but some kind of a healing meditation, for lack of a better term. Cooling meditation for the heated head, and healing meditation where everybody sits in a group, holds hands, or otherwise meditates, holds the minds together and meditates, and then you just sort of sense. How can you not? Because when you get to that place where you allow the mind to still, you can sense a certain presence, and that presence is unopposed to anything, and it just is. So, it's not very difficult to get in touch with that isness, that presence, which is really Ishvara. And then, that is not really Tatastha Lakshana. Because, there is one more step that needs to be taken, and I'll explain Tatastha Lakshana, presently. One more step needs to be taken for this particular standpoint of looking at Ishvara to be complete, and that is to endow this presence with, to see, not even endow, who are we to endow? To see that this presence is endowed with Ishvaratvam. What is Ishvaratvam? Ishvara-ness. What does that mean? The one who is in charge of the Jagat. That this presence is not just an accidental, immanent presence. It is immanent, yes, it is very much here and now, but then that still, it's not quite Tatpada Vichara. It's not quite getting to the place of seeing the very meaning of the word Tat. Tat means Jagat Karanam. So it's not enough to think about Brahman as the presence, as the sole presence that underlies all names and forms and things in the universe. Why? Because through that we have done Advaita Siddhi. Advaita Siddhi means establishment of non-duality. Okay. But then, that is not enough. Enough for what? Enough for whom? Enough for the sorrowful jiva. The sorrowing jiva needs to definitely go that last step. Because the sorrow is coming from two sources. Sorrow is coming from what is that called? A separation. Correct? Separation, anxiety from not being connected to this presence. That is the one source of shoka, sorrow. The other source of shoka, this sorrow, is actually a sense of limitation. The sense of limitation, I am only this much. I am not more than this. That is a very frustrating component of sorrow which is not recognized. So the sorrow has to do with Tvam-pada, I am only this much. Correct? So the sorrow is centered on the word Tvam as it is understood by me, misunderstood by me. And then the sorrow is also related, connected to not being Tat. Yes. So the definition of Tvam, my little definition in my little word, in my tiny little mind, is that Tvam is equal to Atat, not Tat. Right? What is this Tat? Tat cannot just be a presence. Because what is this presence doing? Oh, it's not doing anything, it just is. How boring. Because that is a connecting presence, so it takes care of the one component from which the sorrow, this lifetime after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime sorrow appears to originate. But it does not, the presence, the sensing that presence or connecting with that presence does not take care of the other component of the sorrow, which is what? I am nobody and nothing. So everybody is this big presence, which is everything. Big deal, all touchy-feely, haha, it feels good, when you hold hands and, in this little light of mine, I am going to, what? I'm going to do something with it. Yeah, what else can you do? I'm going to let it shine. Previously I was putting it out, but now, now I'm going to let it shine, That feels good for a little while, because it's a little light. But the little light is not enough being little. That littleness is the second cause of the second cause, means the second component of that sorrow is my not being everything. So that this presence is everything, and that everything includes the ability to control this universe, to bring forth all these as though variegatedness, and to swallow all of them without needing to, throw up, and then to maintain everything as it is. That is where the rub lies. That I am not. So even though, you say I am this wonderful presence, everybody feels swimmy and wonderful, and then you go home, and then what? On the way there is your car and another car wants to occupy the same place at the same time. That itself causes immediate anxiety and sorrow. Nothing happened, Fortunately, you saw that same spot, both the cars were trying to occupy it. Both of you saw, that other car driver also saw, you also saw, and you said, oh, thank God. Quickly I was able to swerve this way. And thank goodness, when I swerved this way, there was nothing coming on this side. And when that fellow served that way, there was nothing coming on that side. But then you start to think, who is running this show? If I am this presence, why did that presence come in my presence and then try to erode this swimmy feeling? And this swimmy feeling gets eroded very fast because it is not based on this Ishvaratvam. That is why the equation is not you are Brahman. Even though there is a Mahavakya that says, I am Atma, Brahma, here Brahman is seen as Ishvara. And these people don't understand, especially in Western academia. I call it academentia. People don't understand this. And in fact, some person wrote this book on Vedanta. Forgot his name. Forgot the title of the book also. Not worth remembering. And big book, analysis of Shankara Bhashya, in which he says Adi Shankara was confused. Oh, why was he confused? Because sometimes he calls Brahman Brahman and sometimes he calls Brahman Ishvara. There is no Ishvara other than Brahman because there is nothing other than Brahman. There is no Jiva also other than Brahman. It is all Brahman. But the Jiva is Brahman minus, Ishvara is Brahman plus. That's what it is. Brahman minus, this oneness. Jiva. Brahman with a lot of misunderstanding, Brahman without knowledge, Brahman plus ignorance. There is also a little plus there. This is what it is. So that you are Brahman is not the equation. And to think of it as the equation is just, persisting against the teaching. It is not, the teaching is not going to bless. You have to go a step more here and define what this Brahman is. And this Brahman is nothing other than the cause of the whole universe. That because of which this alienation has come, this separation has come as though separation. That because of which this I is ensconced as it were in a separate body, sealed, There is no buttons anywhere, You can't get out of it. No zipper like that. What is that? The surfers wear that? Body suit? No, something else is wet suit. Yeah, wet suit. This is an all-weather suit, except the opening is locked, hidden. You can't find the opening. When it's time, you will leave the suit here and go elsewhere. That's all it is. And the suit either will get sooty if it is cremated or it will go under the ground if it is buried. That's all it is. So therefore, that I am, this presence is one component in this understanding. So we need both. So that body of knowledge in the Upanishads, which elucidates, unfolds this presence, is called Swarupa Lakshana, the name for it. So that which defines this presence as what? As free of limitations, as the only thing that is, there is, as all knowledge. This is what is called Swarupa Lakshana. And as I said, it is only one component in coming to this understanding of oneness. And even that, if it does Advaita Siddhi, it is enough. But really speaking, the Advaita Siddhi becomes blessed. The establishment of non-duality, becomes functional and fully blessed only when that truth of that which is the cause of this duality the as though cause of this as though duality is made one with the one who is suffering from the duality. That clinches the whole thing. And so this section is going to drum that in, and it already has been. It's not that this chapter 4 is a radical departure from the other chapters. No, it is not. It is very much in keeping with what we have been studying. But here, that Swarupa and Tatastha. So Swarupa, it is an elucidation, an exposition of that one presence which underlies all things. And what is that one presence? Sat, Chit, Ananda. From the standpoint of the individual, from the standpoint of the collective, what is that? Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. Same thing. Satyam, Sat. It's just got what is that? A abstract, it's made into an abstract now. Sat means that presence, the only thing that is real. Everything else is non-real. Non-real means what? Not false, dependent. And then Jnanam. Jnanam means knowledge, and here on the level of the individual, it is translated as Chit. Chit means awareness. Awareness means knowledge. If I say I am aware of so many bodies in the room, what does that mean? I know that these people or these bodies are here. I am aware of sound. I am aware of various sights. I am aware of silence. That means I have this, I am the witness of everything that is there to know. So Chit is again knowledge. Jnanam is knowledge, same thing. And when we talk of knowledge, immediately we come to examples such as the one I gave, I am aware of. And that's because knowledge is a transitive verb. To know is a transitive verb. I cannot simply say I know. You know what? What do you know? And at best I can say I know that I don't know. So the knowledge being a transitive verb, it begs, what do you know? And so we are not talking of knowledge on that level, because then there is always this subtle difference between knower and known. What is known excludes the knower, correct? And what is the knower is excluded from the known. That subject-object stand in contrast with each other, knower and known. And so therefore, this is something very interesting, because when we say Chit or Jnanam, we are talking of ness, awareness. And when we talk about awareness, we are talking about something like the ocean. Without the small wave, the big wave, it just is, It encapsulates the knower and the known and transcends it also. It simply is an all-knowing what? Sat, presence, because the two are talking to each other. These words are not standing in opposition. They are in fact in apposition, because they are talking to one another. So you cannot say all-knowing what? That all-knowing, all knowledge has to rest in a being. It cannot just be, you cannot say knowledge is floating somewhere. It is resting in a conscious being. And that beingness is Sat. You see that? That presence in which, so to speak, the knowledge is resting is Sat. It's everywhere, it's the only thing that there is, and it happens to be conscious and sentient. We can no longer call it it. And then how sentient, how conscious, how present, then we have the final one, Anantam, limitlessly so. All pervasive, everywhere, at all times, without any residue. All knowledge. There is nothing that it doesn't know, which is everything. It even includes not knowing that one is not knowing of a particular thing. So that knowingness and the beingness, which is limitless, is what is expressed as the definition of Brahman, Satyam Jnanam Anantam, on the macro level, and on the micro level connected to the individual awareness, individual body, mind, sense complex, we say Sat Chit, and then what? Ananda. Anantam, limitlessness, gets converted to Ananda. Why? Why? Huh?
Because we can relate to.
Because it's seen from the standpoint of human pursuit. Nobody is pursuing limitlessness. Most people don't even know how to spell it. Where is the S and how many S's? Because nowadays everything is spell checked. And so nobody is pursuing limitlessness. Nobody knows limitlessness. You cannot even say the word eternal. Eternal means what? Because one is trapped in the time-space matrix. So there is really, our understanding of eternal is necessarily that which hangs for a long time in time and space. Yeah. Like a guest that has turned into a pest. Why? Because they're not leaving. Yeah. Like a guest who doesn't leave, and you go to have coffee with your friend, and the friend asks, you still have your house pest? Yes. And when is he or she leaving? Oh, I don't know, they are just eternally here. Like an in-law, like an outlaw, whatever it is. So our concept of eternity is marred by our participation, our helpless trapping in the time-space matrix. So really speaking, one cannot desire limitlessness consciously because of this problem. Even though that's really what one wants. But consciously, what does one desire? Oh my God, I want to be happy. What does it take for you to be happy? I want an out-of-body experience. Something they will say. I want to, what is that? Gliding. Go sky gliding. That, where you pretend you're a spider, the bungee jumping. And one more thing where you go on this rod, you catch hold of... Huh?
Zip line.
That's what it's called? Zip line? Oh, okay. So you catch hold of one rod and go, and go from one place to another. This is modern Tarzan. Yeah, so all these things give a thrill. Why? Because you have broken certain limits. You see that? Human beings are not supposed to go like that. But yes, yet you have. And you feel, yippee, climbing Everest. Now the GPS has to be repositioned because after this earthquake it moved. Yeah, only 3 centimeters, but still it has moved a little bit. And climbing the mountain and then going rock climbing. Why? I don't know. But these are all pursuits. And then they will write it very happily as the hobby. Bungee jumping, rock climbing, and something else they do, which is, what is that? Two people, one on top of the other, going like that. And now animals have also started to do it. They just climb on the weasel climbs onto the woodpecker's back, and the crow climbs on the eagle back. Like this, there is
Parasailing.
Yeah, whatever it is, so many names. And then that is above the ground. Under the ground also all these things. You go and there's one person who is convinced she's a fish of some kind, and she goes and sits with a shark without the cage. Yeah, she's just got the breathing tube and everything, and there's photos of her sitting very nicely, with her flippers, and all the sharks, friendly ones, I suppose, swimming about her, and not a single one has bitten her. And she says that it's all about oneness. See, this is how the human search for limitlessness. This is what it takes. These are the avatars of the human search for this limitlessness. Even though you don't know the word limitlessness, one does desire it. And it comes out in these bizarre manifestation of finite experiences pursued infinitely. That's what it is. That's why we always say, you can either be a seeker of the infinite, which is a result of great grace, or you can be what? An infinite seeker, which is, which is what makes one go to desire all these, daring pursuits. So really, Ananda is Ananta, but it is converted to Ananda, happiness, that thrill which I get from the contact high, because that's all I know and that's all I want all the time. And when I say I want something all the time, I have already come into the boundary of the boundless, so to speak. I have already come in this whole understanding of limitlessness. Nobody says, I want to be happy, for 5 minutes. I want to have this thrilling experience for 10 minutes. No, I want to come back and do it again. Why not continue to do it? Because I've run out of money. I've run out of time. I've run out of resources. So I can only afford 3 such experiences in 1 year, one person will say. Or 2, or 1. So like this, the Sat Chit Ananda, Satyam Jnanam Anantam, same. That is why it is called Swarupa Lakshana, because it does not swerve from itself. Swarupa means that which is the same at all times, in all places. And here the word Swarupa defies time and place, because it is beyond time and place. Because time and place is not there. They are not there as entities in this, understanding of presence. And if we are talking of presence, you cannot say where is it, because then we are looking for a location for this presence. And then there is anantya hanihi, the loss of limitlessness as soon as you try to locate this presence. Ananta hanihi, So hanihi means the loss of limitlessness take place. And again, you cannot say what does it know and what does it not know. Again, there is a loss of, infiniteness. And so therefore, it is a presence that is infinite. Here we can, use the word. That is free of time and space. And time and space don't belong here because they are constructs. They are also namarupas connected to this presence. Emerging from this presence. Upkept by this presence, swallowed by this presence, spit out by this presence. So really speaking, you cannot say in time, in space, because the word Ananda and the word Ananta removes the smattering of time and space, reduces them to just mere aspects of creation. Here when we talk of Satyam Jnanam Anantam, there is no creation. We are only focusing on Brahman as a presence, as a knowing, conscious, limitless, all-pervasive being, free of all vikaras, modifications, physical, mental, anything. Free of action, free of reaction, free of being an actor, free of being the other one. What is that? Bhokta. What is Bhokta? The one, either the free of agency, free of victimhood, just a presence. There is no doing, just a being, an infinitely knowing being who is everything, everywhere, although we cannot even use the word everywhere because there is no time and space. And if this was not interesting enough, then like I said, this is still, there is still something more to be done, because even though we cannot use the word everything and everywhere, we are compelled to use the word everything and everywhere, primarily because of the fact that there is everything and there is everywhere. Correct? Because I am experiencing time and space, even as a sakshi, as a witness perception. Sitting here I can say that this much time has elapsed. How do you know? Because Sakshita is there because of this witnessing. I am able to say that. And so, therefore, I sense time, I sense space. So if somebody creeps up on me from behind, and let's say I'm not sitting in front of a mirror, I still know how, because I'm sensing space. And sometimes people say, I don't have enough space. In this relationship, I need more space. What to do? Move to Mars. That's all. Some people are getting ready to go, And so, I need space. I need time. I need space. I have no. Everybody says I have no time. Yeah. There is another lack. I have no time. Time has become a resource which is costly. You see, you have to pay for it. Like if you hire someone, you're not giving them money just because you like how they look, You're giving them money for their time. Yeah. So time is costly. Space is costlier still. You try to rent something here and the rent will be in your pocket, a big rent. Yeah. Rent here means whole. Yeah. So that's all it is. You try anything on the West Coast, you try to rent something. Or on the East Coast, New York, you try to rent. A 1-bedroom apartment in New York is $5,000. Yeah. Easily. And then the person who gets this feels very lucky. Oh, only 5,000. Thank God, Manhattan, yeah. Thank God I got it. And then just because you have excellent preferences and what is that, where they run some background check and all, yeah, all that. Just because you have all that and you've never been arrested and you don't plan on being arrested, you don't even have a parking ticket, you are as clean as a whistle, your record. Don't think you're going to get it, because there'll be so many other people. And then since there are so many people, the owner has an idea. What is the idea? Let's auction it off. Silent auction. Silent means you pay more. That's all, because you don't know how much to bid. You keep bidding against yourself. Because you don't know. You think that they are raising the rent. So you're desperate because your job is starting. And your job is paying 7,000 a month. So then you'll just be on the fringes, that's all. So this is the whole thing. You don't have, space is costly, time is costly, and we have made it costly because of our madness. Because of our mad way of understanding this and not seeing that we are really beyond time and space, and because people are not studying Vedanta as they should, and therefore they have made time and space into commodities. First you commodify time and space, and then you get victimized by that commodification. It's all mad, crazy, totally crazy. This is what it is. And then it's just like renting an apartment is the same thing like booking a flight. You try to book a flight and then it will say, sorry, the price has gone up. Never does it say, woohoo, the price has gone down. Never does it say that. I wonder why. Price always keeps going up. And the price for what? Breathing space. That's all it is. Breathing very canned air. Canned air in the form of a long vestibule which is shared by hundreds of people. And then you have the right to breathe, that's all. And you have the right, you pay for the right to be uncomfortable, That is space. And there too there are rules. And if you don't fit in the seat, you have to buy 2 seats. Airline rule. Yeah, so all kinds of things. And so really speaking, we have to, if we are studying Vedanta, it is advisable to get into the habit of making time and space laughable matters. At each opportunity that presents itself. We can't take this seriously. Yeah. Otherwise, we are not able to see the Swarupa Lakshana. We will miss the Swarupa Lakshana entirely because we are dwelling in this timed, spaced cube of our own, limited understanding. And then we are never able to see the glory of this. To see the glory of this presence, which is really you, I have to get into the habit of making fun of time and space. That's why I came 2 minutes late. Perhaps. So, this is one standpoint from which to define this Brahman, which is nothing but Ishvara. So the definition of this presence is again Ishvara. Don't think this is Brahman and that is Ishvara. This is a mistake that is made by the newly, coughed up Vedantin in every circle. Brahman is Satyam Jnanam Anantam. And what is Ishvara? Yato va imani bhutani jayante, yena jatani jivanti, yat prayanti abhisam vishanti. From which all beings have emerged. Beings means Namarupas. And by which all beings are sustained. And then what? The power through which all beings are resolved. Unto which all beings are resolved. That power, everybody says Ishvara. And then this presence goes by the name Brahman. And this is confusing because this is also the academic perspective. In academia, very difficult to introduce the word Ishvara. You have to be very careful and you have to do it very slowly because their understanding, they are very convinced that this is Brahman. Brahman, they will say, impersonal. And then Ishvara, personal. Is it a pet dog or what? Complete rank ignorance, really. And they will even write, Adi Shankara was confused. These are the people that write that. Because sometimes he calls Brahman and sometimes he says Ishvara. It's one and the same thing. It's only from the standpoint that the epithet differs. Ishu Palane, the one who nurtures, the one who overlords. What? Always. Varach. Always. Overlords what? Immediately, when you have the verb overlords or, has power. Rules. Rules what? Then immediately you have to say that which is this universe, the manifest universe. From whom this manifestation has come. And all this coming, going is as though, the sustaining is also as though. The rulership is also as though ultimately. And the status that I am ruled is also as though. But until we get to that point, at least we have to see this, that there is something there. It's not enough to just stop at this presence. The presence is also Ishvara. And that which rules is also Brahman, same thing. It's just different standpoints, so different epithets. That's all it is. So this has to be assimilated. So first we saw what is called Swarupa Lakshana. That Swarupa means that which does not change. The definition which is an unchanging definition. Swarupa, one's own nature. And so that Lakshana is Satyam Jnanam Anantam, that definition. And then this definition from the standpoint of the manifest universe, because we have to account for the fact that I am a timed and spaced entity, correct? I appear to be a timed and spaced entity in search of the timeless, which is itself a kind of a contradiction. And this is the contradiction that plagues me all my life, life after life, if it is not interrogated. So that I am a timed entity, I feel like a spaced out entity, is the problem. And this problem here is understood by seeing the oneness with the one who is the cause, who is the apparent cause here, the cause of this manifestation. And so that is what is called Tatastha Lakshana, because it's a changing definition, because we don't subscribe to the fact that the world is here all the time. The world comes and goes. It's a cycle. That's why it's called Jagat. Jayate is born and then Gacchati is gone. That's why. So you take the Ja from Jayate and you take the Ga from Gacchati and then you end it with a Takara. Jagat. Jayate Gacchati. Born, gone, born, gone, born, gone. In between is. Yeah. Born is gone. Is born, gone. Born, gone is. You can put it in any different way. Since it's a cycle, it's all just going round and round. So then, that which is born and gone is called Jagat. And so this coming and going of this Jagat, this finite piece, so to speak, the finite aspect of this infinite, which is a big contradiction, because this finite component of this infinite, so-called finite component, is infinitely finite. and then when I come into being, I, as in the ahankara associated with the body, mind, sense complex, I immediately attach to everything around me and see that as different from me. And then have raga and dvesha and certain relationships to certain other finite forms, and certain other, forms I shy away from, and certain other forms I go to. And this meandering fellow is to be taught, you are the whole. How? This is the two ways in which the knowledge of Ishvara as oneself is deployed. First, you connect them to the presence, the people who are studying, and then you reveal the presence as the one who is the manifester of the universe, as the truth of oneself. So the Upanishad does this beautifully. So these are the pedagogical, tools through which this is accomplished. So in the verse that we are about to study, if we have time, which we don't, so in the verse that we are about to study, we have both these components, talked about very beautifully in this one verse. At least we have the time to read it, okay? Ya eko varno bahudha shakti yogat.
Ya eko varno bahudha shakti yogat.
Varnananeka nihitartho dadhati.
Varnananeka nihitartho dadhati.
Vijayti jante vishvamadau cha devaha.
Vijayti jante vishvamadau cha devaha.
Sano buddhya shubhaya samyunaktu.
Sano buddhya shubhaya samyunaktu.
Ya eko varno bahudha shakti yogat.
Ya eko varno bahudha shakti yogat.
Varnananekan nihitartho dadhati.
Varnananekan nihitartho dadhati.
Vijayti chante vishvamadau cha devaha.
Vijayti chante vishvamadau cha devaha.
Sano buddhya shubhaya samyunaktu.
Sano buddhya shubhaya samyunaktu.
Yeah. So, very beautiful. Very, very beautiful. Yaha ekaha. That one being. Yaha ekaha. Adau, from the third line has to come. Right here in the first line. Yaha ekaha. Avarnaha. Adau. Bahudha Shakti Yogat or Shakti Yogat Bahudha Varnan Anekan Varnan Nihitarthah Dadhati Cha Ante Vieti Vishvam Devah Sa Naha Buddhya Shubhaya Samyunaktu. This is the prosaic form, Anvaya. And this is very beautiful because of the way in which both these definitions that we have been talking at length are simultaneously and poetically explained. So, yaha ekah, that which is the sole presence, that presence we have talked about because 3 chapters have gone, so it can say yaha ekah, that one presence, that one being, who is all knowledge, we have to say Satyam Jnanam, who is infinite, Anantam, and essentially what? Avarnaha, attributeless. Varnyate iti varnaha. Varnyate anena also iti varnaha. Varna, although often translated as color, is not color here. Varna means description. Attributes. Avarna, attribute free, attribute less. Description less. Cannot be described as what? As an object, because it is you. It is the subject. It is the very truth of the subject, which is formless and nameless. How are you going to describe it? So, yaha ekah avarnaha Shakti Yogat, through the power to create, maintain, sustain and resolve. Bahudha. What kind of Shakti Yoga? Bahudha. Great power, infinite power. Maya Shakti, infinite. Through that power, and that Bahudha can be repeated here. Bahudha is like the little lamp that is in between the compound of 2 houses. Where will the light fall? Both places. So Bahudha Shakti Yogat, Bahudha Vidadhati. Anekan Varnan Bahudha Vidadhati. That Bahudha goes both ways. So through infinite Shakti, what does he do? Infinitely, he, she, here, because there is no he here without the she. So he, she, infinitely creates this infinitely finite Jagat. So Vidadhati brings forth what? Varnan Anekan, things of many description. Bahudha, huge things of many descriptions. When? Adau, in the beginning of the creation. Oh, then what happens at the end? Antecha, and who is this being? Yaha ekaha devaha. I forgot to say that in the prosaic part, in the Anvaya. Yaha ekaha avarnaha devaha should come there. Dyotanatmakatvat, the one who is free of any of the, even the slightest shade of ignorance is called here Devaha. All knowledge, shining, self-shining. This self-shining being, all knowledge, free of ignorance, Devaha, Vidadhati Adau, puts forth this whole universe of various descriptions, Varnan Aneka, and Vidadhati, Dadhati means brings forth. And then what happens? Why? The question is Nihitarthaha. Nihitarthaha means some secret reason. Yeah, Nihita means ensconced. Actually, it can also means that it is a hidden reason, secret reason, one meaning. Another meaning is without real meaning, brings forth, without any reason. brings forth. And next time we'll see both those meanings. Just we are translating it right now. So second meaning is without real purpose, brings forth this universe. When Adau in the beginning, and then Ante at the end, Cha Vijay, and at the end, Vijayati. V plus Cha plus Eti. So the Cha has to be taken out of there, because when you add a prefix, you can't just add some other word. The prefix has to be right in front of the word that you are trying to, transform. So this is a Vedic usage. So the Cha here means and it is purposely put in between the two words because to signify Vartamane Cha, the present also, because only the past Adau and the future Ante are recognized. And so this Chakara, Vartamane Picha, even now the one who is sustaining. That is a hidden meaning there. But actually it is Vi-eti, Visheshena eti. Eti means makes it all go away in a very special way. You don't even know it has gone and no residues are left from one cycle of creation to another. And you have to laugh because all these people are burying time capsules in various cities. And so you don't have any time capsules from the last yuga, from the last kalpa. You don't have that. And so, Vichayati cha ante Vishwam. Vishwam means this whole Jagat, this waking world, along with the waker, it's is resolved. And then what? May this being, may this Deva, may this effulgent being give us, Samyunaktu, unite us with good buddhi, Shubha, with auspicious buddhi. That's the only thing to pray for. Yeah. And what this auspicious buddhi is and how to unite with it, TBS, to be seen when next week there is no class.
The week after.
Week after, yeah. Next week, Dr. Hari's lecture. Yeah. Okay? Yeah. So next week we have an Ayurvedic doctor coming to town. If you want, you can tune in same time, this class time. Yeah. And then next, what is that? Tomorrow's class time also. Two days he will be talking about yoga, Ayurveda and chronic illness. He doesn't know he's going to talk about it yet, but I think he does?
No,
Not yet. I'm sure he'll manage very well. So, we chose the topic for him because there were these time slots. And so tomorrow, next week, Tuesday and Wednesday, 6 to 7. And if you like, you send an email or, let us know. Let us just know in this chat box, and then we'll keep this window open so you can all enjoy.
Just Adobe.
Just Adobe, yeah, not live stream. Yeah, so you can all those who are there can come here.
They're already doing it.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate
Purnasya
Purnamadaya
Purnameva Vashishyate.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Manifestation and Srishti. Srishti means creation. But we don't use the word so much. Even though the word is there, it can be used if we understand what we are talking about. Because the creation means that it takes the what has come out seriously. So we say more Abhivyakti. Because this Satchidananda has as though variegated into this universe. So everything in the universe is Satchidananda, Satchidananda, Satchidananda. That is what we would rather say than say that it is a creation, because then it gives this subtle kind of a difference between creator and created. So that is again a non-duality problem. Duality problem. Yeah. Just semantics, Vedantic semantics. Yeah. Any other question? Okay.